Kubernetes. It's the engine that powers so many modern applications. But let's be honest, for a lot of us, it's also an engine for burning through a cloud budget. So if you've ever stared at a spiraling cloud bill and wondered, how do I tame this beast without breaking everything? Well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the data-driven way to do it. Look, Kubernetes is incredibly powerful. No doubt about it. It automates, it scales, it lets engineering teams build the future. But all that power comes with a ton of complexity. And you know what comes with complexity, right? Hidden costs. It's why so many organizations suddenly find their cloud bills are just out of control, and Kubernetes is sitting there as this mysterious culprit. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you rein in all those costs without compromising the reliability and the performance that your users absolutely depend on? It really feels like you're forced to choose one or the other. So how do we get out of this mess? Well, a data-driven report from Google actually gives us a super clear roadmap. We're going to start by laying out the challenge. Then we'll introduce this really cool framework called the 4 golden signals. From there, we'll see what the best of the best, the elite teams, are doing, uncover a pretty dangerous pitfall to avoid, and then finally lay out a clear path for you to get this right. Okay, let's jump right into that framework. The report gives us these 4 golden signals to measure how cost-efficient you are. You can think of these like the vital signs for your cluster's financial health. If you can get a handle on these 4 things, you're well on your way. Signal number 1, and honestly, this is the big one, is workload right-sizing. It sounds complicated, but it's simple. Just ask for what you actually need. Are your applications requesting a massive amount of CPU and memory, but in reality, they're only using a tiny little fraction of it? If the answer is yes, you're just throwing money away before you've even started. Second, we've got demand-based downscaling. Your infrastructure should never be static, right? When traffic is low, like in the middle of the night or over a weekend, your cluster should automatically shrink. This signal measures how well your cluster breeds with your actual demand, making sure you only pay for compute power when you truly need it. Our third signal is cluster bin packing. The best way to think about this is like you're packing a moving truck. You want to fit as many boxes in as you possibly can with zero wasted space. Bin packing is that same exact logic, but for your Kubernetes nodes. It's all about how efficiently you're filling them up with your applications. And finally, we have discount coverage. This one's all about the financial strategy. It's a measure of how well you're taking advantage of all those juicy discounts your cloud provider offers. Things like using spot instances for workloads that can be interrupted, or signing up for long-term commitments for your super stable, predictable stuff. So out of all 4 of those signals, the research found something absolutely critical. Workload right-sizing is by far the most important one. Why? Well, because if you get this part wrong, any effort you put into bin packing or buying discounts might have to be totally redone later. It is the foundation. Get the foundation right first. Okay, so now that we know the signals, let's see what we can learn from the absolute best in the game. The report uses these 4 metrics to group real-world clusters into different tiers, from low performers all the way up to elite. And this is where it gets really, really interesting, because the differences are just staggering. And just look at this data. The gap is huge. We're not talking about elite performers being a little bit better. No way. They are nearly 3 times better at right-sizing CPU, 4 times better at downscaling, and almost 3 times better at packing their nodes. It's a massive difference across the board. But just look at that last number, 16.2. Let that sink in for a second. Elite teams are over 16 times more effective at using cloud discounts. That's not just a small technical gap. That's a massive financial and strategic advantage. But here's a word of caution. Chasing numbers like that can actually lead you down a really dangerous path. And that brings us to what the report calls the at-risk pitfall. This is a group of teams who, in their quest to save money, are actually making their applications dangerously unreliable. This quote from the report just hits the nail on the head. At its core, it's a knowledge gap. Teams are using a specific type of workload. It's called a best effort pod, without realizing that they're basically giving Kubernetes permission to kill it without any warning whenever resources get tight. So you end up in this really tragic situation. The goal is great, right? Use up every last bit of available CPU and memory to save money. But the reality is that they're creating a ticking time bomb.
They're introducing random, intermittent application failures that are an absolute nightmare to try and debug.
And it's not just a theory. The data proves it. These at-risk clusters deploy 1.6 times more of these best effort pods. They are, in effect, giving Kubernetes a license to kill their own applications at any moment, creating total chaos in the name of efficiency. So, the big question is, how do you avoid this trap? Well, this gets us to that crucial balance between cost and reliability. And the secret? It lies in a core Kubernetes concept that every single engineer needs to understand: quality of service, or QoS classes. See, Kubernetes automatically sorts every pod you run into one of 3 tiers. Think of it exactly like boarding groups for an airline. Best effort is the last group to board, and the very first to get bumped if the flight is overbooked. Burstable is kind of in the middle. They've got some protection. And guaranteed, that's your first class. They're the most protected and the last to be affected when things go wrong.
So here's the bottom line. At-risk teams, they put their important applications in that best effort category, basically telling Kubernetes, yeah, it's cool if you kill this. Elite teams are way more disciplined. They use guaranteed for their critical services and then carefully configured burstable pods for everything else, making absolutely sure those memory settings are right to prevent them from getting kicked off.
Okay, we've seen the signals, we've learned from the elite, and we know the big pitfalls to avoid. So let's put it all together. Let's chart your path to optimization. What does it actually take to become an elite performer? The report gives us a really clear playbook.
This is a sequence of deliberate practices. And listen, the order here really matters. First, they obsess over right-sizing. Once that's solid, then they automate scaling. They use things like the horizontal pod autoscaler, or HPA, to add more pods when needed, and the vertical pod autoscaler, or VPA, to give individual pods more resources. They demand visibility with cost tools. And crucially, they deploy 70% fewer of those dangerous best effort pods. Only then, with a stable and efficient foundation, do they start layering on the financial stuff, like discounts.
The report's conclusion puts it perfectly. If you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this: don't chase the easy wins first. Don't start by just trying to pack your clusters tighter or hunting for discounts. Start with the real foundation. Correctly size your applications. Everything else flows from that one critical step.
At the end of the day, taming the Kubernetes cost beast isn't about some magic tool or a quick trick. It's about building strong engineering foundations. It's about creating a culture where developers who understand their apps and platform teams who provide the tools can really work together towards the same goal. And all of that leaves you with one question. When you look at your own clusters through this new lens, are you building an elite platform, or are you unknowingly putting yourself at risk? The answer could be the difference between real innovation and a very, very costly explosion. Thanks for watching.